Bam. What is going on, everyone? And welcome to the morning show. Welcome to this beautiful Wednesday morning. I hear myself a lot better than I thought I would. Earlier today and yesterday, I've been fighting back like a cold or a flu or something that's trying to get me. And I took a few pills. And I think I feel pretty good. But yes, welcome to the morning show. Welcome to this latest episode. And on today's show, I have a really good show for you guys. I'm going to bring on the creator of this new comic called Beckoned Recourse, and it's a fantasy comic, at least by what it looks like on the outside. But we'll bring on Jeremy, who's the creator, and get the chance to talk to him and dive into the process. He's got some awesome art to show off. I'm going to share off with all of his art and stuff. His information and social media and stuff is in the description, so please take a look at that. Be sure to back the campaign. It is currently live and it's funding, so please, it's always good to get more backers. And I wanted to say hi to the people in the chat. I have Collision Bomb. What's going on? He's saying hello to D-Wag, and D-Wag's also here. What's going on, D-Wag? Good to see you, man. It's always a pleasure. Always an honor. Thank you very much for sharing out the stream today. And yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to see D-Wag in the chat. And yeah, also before I bring my guest on, just wanted to give a few announcements. December 14th. December 14th. I keep saying this. I keep mentioning this date. Let me just get this picture. Let me get this picture for you guys. December 14th is the day when I'm going to reveal to everyone what it is that I'm working on. I haven't been posting any art at all in the last few days. I am currently busy at work finishing the preview comic that I'm working on. It's 10 pages just to give you an introduction to the world that I'm thinking about making and showing off to you guys. So I'm going to reveal everything on December 14th. And I'm going to tell you what the name is. I'm going to show you the logo. Here's the main character, so you can see the main character now. But I'm also going to show off redesigned artwork of the bad guys, some concept art of side characters, and also 2 interior pages and the cover. So I have a lot of artwork to show off. Hopefully, I'll have the colors on the cover that day also, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot to show off, and it's going to be on the 14th. And then that will also be my last live stream because next year I'm going to start working on this and then also continuing with the story. And there are some scheduling things also with work that are going to impede me from live streaming as often as I have been doing. So we'll find. I'll be sure to continue doing videos and stuff like that, but I'm going to have to put an end to the live streams for a moment. And so yeah, so everything's going to happen on December 14th. We're just 2 weeks away. And so yeah, just wanted to share that out to you guys. And without any more delays and without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest for today, the incredibly talented and awesome. Wait. I'm not going to say his last name. I'm just going to say Jeremy because I don't want to destroy his last name. I've heard different pronunciations, but I'm just going to say Jeremy. Yes. Let's welcome Jeremy to the show. Big round of applause, please. Excellent. Thank you very much. What's going on, Jeremy?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Very excited to have you here and to get to talk about your book. I mentioned this to you earlier that I've seen images of your comic in chats, and you've shown off some pieces that I'm going to show off today also. And yeah, I'm excited. You're doing an incredible work, incredible art in this comic. And yeah, I'm just curious to know more about the story, about what this is, and yeah, what can you tell us about all that? So before we get started, just wanted to ask you, how are you doing today? How is everything going on?
Doing good. It's a pretty day over here in Florida, so the
Nice.
dogs are rambunctious, but they're kind of chilling now. As far as the campaign's going, I'm excited. We're funded, so I mean, I'm just kind of doing the due diligence and continue to push it. I've got cool ideas that I'm going to be updating. I got an extra thing that I've been making since yesterday and the day before. I've made one before, and it's still lasting 6 years later, and it's awesome. So I'm making a miniature version of that. A few people have been giving me ideas on something that would be cool to add to the campaign, but it's almost done. So after the show, I got to run out to the hardware store, grab a couple things, come back, and just kind of tinker away. But when I get it done, I'll upload it. I hope it'll just get some more people interested in coming through, getting some of the cool stuff that's coming with it. I'm a tinker. I don't know. I'm drawing. I'm making replica stuff. I'm, doing what I'm doing over here, which it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of still pumping that creative juice in all kinds of different ways, and still working on the book. So
awesome stuff, man. Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear, man. And so if you can please tell us what is Beckoned Recourse? What is this about? What should we know about this book?
Well, the story is two major factions have struggled for a century over technological dominion of their planet. One builds in harmony with the life, and the other strangles and overtakes everything in its way. Nice. Testing to become a high scholar in the use of a potent crystal magic, a harmless day will become deadly for a young father who will see the hope of his kingdom be betrayed and destroyed.
Nice. And this is the father in the picture here?
Yes, sir. That's Tepestro, our main character.
That's awesome. And then here's I'm assuming his family on the left, on the right.
Yep.
Sorry, not that.
Yep. That's
nice.
That's his wife Eulafi and his son Sardige.
Awesome stuff, man. And I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your last name? I want to say Thevenot, but
that's great. That's great. Yeah, you guys do really good with it. Just trust yourselves. You do good. That's great. Oh, yeah, Thevenot. It works.
How would you pronounce it?
Thevenot or Thevenot. Yeah, you get it right.
Nice, awesome.
Depends on how fancy you are. You drink your tea with your pinky up? No.
Sometimes, man. Sometimes.
Man.
That's awesome, man. Where did this idea come from? Like, what are some of the influences behind this story, this world that you're creating?
Well, I really like the late 80s fantasy movies like Neverending Story, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, stuff like that. And then, of course, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I played RPGs since I was a kid, like doing tabletops, and then moved into like the PlayStation and Super Nintendo golden era of RPGs. So I like long form stories that are epics. I'm attracted to them. So early on, it was in high school, I came up with the first drawing of this, and it's kind of like my idea is like Star Wars has all these different planets, but they're all the same planet. Like as far as like everything on the planet's the same. So why don't they just do all that on one giant planet? And so I said, oh no, I'll do that, and I'll never run out of stuff to draw. So, I always have something to do or something to make or something to create that has this anchored alien place. So yeah, when you look at my art, you're like, what the heck is any of this like even mean? Like, what is it? It's like, it's kind of supposed to stretch your brain a little bit and go, what if we had, another planet with civilizations and stuff? A lot of the stuff we in comic books explore, and storytellers.
That's all. Like go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
That's exactly the kind of thing that I'm approaching. Also, I'm doing as well, and which is what attracted me a lot to the book, because I'm also a big fan of RPGs. And I like Lord of the Rings. I haven't gotten too deep into Lord of the Rings, but I am a fan. And my thing in terms of RPGs have been Final Fantasy, and I have there's a big influence from that in my story. And awesome. I'm taking the same approach in my story. For example, I'm creating a planet, giving it its own aesthetic, playing around with everything, and it's really cool that like you have this sandbox, if you will, and you get to just mold it and make it however you like, and tell your story with it. So that's awesome. And so is there like, for example, any video game influence in the architecture of some of the buildings? Because I really like how you came up with things like this. these designs. Is this fully just you playing around with?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
There's an idiom that I try that kind of flows into what you were talking about earlier that I like to kind of keep in my mind is with the world building is you can't break any of your rules, so you have to set certain rules for your world. So mine was a primitive. It's a very early world, so their civilizations, they haven't had much experience building them and seeing them crumble and like stability. They're still pretty primitive, but they're using this crystal magic that they're kind of unlocking. So that's kind of boosting them, technologically, but not like I've been calling it Gaia punk rather than like steampunk or cyberpunk. Gaia being like the theory of the earth and stuff. So yeah, you can kind of, those are the inspirations. So it's more like growth or harvesting rather than cutting things down and, milling them. But, they try, at least this culture, So the other thing is like, what are the big green spheres? These are soil cores that they're phyto mining out of the ground, which is this crystal loaded stuff that's all juiced up and like in its own sap that becomes like a helium gas. So they had airships. You got these weird cage spheres. Well, yeah, they're primate-ish, simian type people. So give them some highways to climb up and get places quicker. But there are still humans on the planet and other type of races or cultures. So, they still do business with them. So planes and walking and all that. But yeah, I mean, you can clearly see I like the way Final Fantasy experiments with some of their city, design and architecture. Like I really like Final Fantasy 9, and I didn't mean for it, but that little hobble over on there on the right feels like Alexandria a little bit.
Yeah, I see that also. The character also, the main character has a Zidane-esque feel to him also with the monkey features. Awesome stuff, man.
Sweet. Awesome. And yeah, that game also had a Gaia theory behind it. They just go in a different way than I did.
Exactly.
They go a totally different way than I did.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is great. And this is going to be an ongoing series, or is this like a finite story where it has an ending to it?
So I have a prologue that I'm attempting to tell in 3 books, and this being the first one. So the second book will follow his wife and kind of her perspectives of the event, and then we'll continue on. And then the next book kind of introduces us to our hero character that's going to sustain a 10-book series afterwards. So, and all that happens 10 years before the video game stories. So, yeah, and then there's a whole trilogy story way after the video game. So there's more story, but I know how it ends. I know the story points that I got to hit. I got some writing freedom with how things kind of go to and fro in between those parts, but I've got a good rail to stay on to get to that conclusion and that awesome ending. But it gets pretty gnarly. It gets into sci-fi stuff or theoretical physics and cosmology, like portals and multiverse and panspermia and, all kinds of weird stuff. So
that's awesome. How long have you been developing this story? Because it sounds very like you've done a lot of research. It sounds like you've been writing this for a long time. Have you been doing this for a while?
It's grown with me since high school. So yeah, so I've always had the template on the side while I grew and matured some more and learned some more stuff, and then took some of these ideas and I had something to apply it to or massage it into the story if I could, if I really liked it. So that allowed me to get a lot of twists and turns over the time. And now I'm setting out and go, this is a cool twist. Put that out there. This is a cool twist too. Put this. So I'm on a big road path to get to a conclusion with all these twists and turns. I just got to put a book behind each one of them, or a story or a game, and get you all through it. And yeah, I'm excited that this piece is done. This is the creation of the MacGuffin and Lord of the Rings, like the forging of the One Ring. This book is going to cover the main MacGuffin that carries us all the way to the end.
And you said this is the prologue, and then this is going to lead into the game that you've also been developing.
This is one part of a 3-part prologue. So I'll have 2 more books after this that'll complete the prologue story of the whole legend. And then a 10 series issue after that.
After that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have 10 issues of would that be Recourse 1, 2, and 3, and then 10 more?
No, Recourse will be covering
this one.
We'll be covering these first 3.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
and
then after that, we'll be going into a Beckoned secret subtitle for 10 issues.
Beckoned Endgame. have everybody just speculate on it for a while. That would be a pretty nice game to play. Have people speculate on the title for the book.
Yep.
But yes, I wanted to say hi to Frequency Girl. She's in the chat.
What's up,
Frequency Girl? And Collision Bomb.
They've been awesome. I got my Mavericks package. I'm about to crack open the book this weekend, but I can't believe how the prints came out. I was like, oh my God, these things are awesome. Thank you guys. Global Frequency.
Maverick. Yeah, I have I finally got my tracking I think it was yesterday. And so I should be getting it, I'm assuming in like a week or so or 2 weeks, I don't know. But I'm excited for that book also, and excited to have been able to contribute something to it. And it's gonna look great. I've seen pictures of people posting doing their own boxes. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome stuff, man. And awesome. So you're doing the writing, you're doing the line art, you're doing the colors, you're doing everything on the book.
Yes, sir.
Does that like, how does the process go? How would you explain your creating process for this? Do you do the stories first? You do the writing first, then you go back, or do you adjust as you go along?
I'm more of adjusting as I'm going along. Like I said, I have a set past story and I put my best effort out. And so the first, like, me and my buddy conceptualized the story that you guys are seeing in this book just verbally. We weren't even taking notes. We were just like telling ourselves this story like we did when we played tabletop games. We freestyled. We didn't use modules. Yeah. So we just had dice and pen and paper and sending each other through each other's imaginations. We're used to kind of bouncing an idea back and forth. He's very familiar with my world creation, and he's helped a lot in it too. So we conceptualized this just in thought. After a couple of years, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a comic. I got to start at the beginning. Well, what is the real beginning of the legend? It's not the prehistory that goes back. It's actually the creation of this MacGuffin. So I went to that story and jotted down my notes about what I remembered, and then started carving how do I do that in a 32-page book, or 27-page story, stuff like, and trying to get all the beats right, because Joe Catapano Star Circuit, which by the way, guys, he's got I don't know if his sale's still going on, but he's had Star Circuit, a specific cover on his website. Anyway, Joe's really hard about pacing, making sure that the pacing of the story is good. And I totally agree with it. And pacing is different in video games than it is in movies, than it is in books, than it is in a novel too, not just visual novels. So I'm aware of that. So trying to get that beat kind of found, and then also being a little experimental with it, where I want you to feel like you're thrusted into Hobbiton, so you see the wonder that we're trying to fight for, the peace and the niceties. But we're going to watch all that kind of get betrayed in this book while the MacGuffin's getting created, or while the MacGuffin gets created. And then, I'll be leaving you with questions. You're not going to have many answers at the end of this first book.
Nice. Awesome stuff, man. And how do you handle, for example, constricting, I guess you can say, because you're writing an epic story. How do you constrict that into 32 pages? How do you decide how many pages would be appropriate for this part of the story? How do you go about selecting the page count for your work?
Well, it's pretty cliche to kind of say, think about what drives the story along and don't try to add too much fluff. But that's true in video games too. Like Chrono Trigger is mired by it being one of the best scripts or best stories in a video game because there's no fat. Even the side quests are adding more to the character building. So people appreciate it when you do that. You're not just sticking something in. So for example, I could have made a scene in this book where a person lights a candle with one of my magic crystals, right? Whoopie-doo, that would have gave you a real easy way to see how the crystals work. But instead, I put that in a scene with their kid playing with the toy that shows that the kid's got this affinity to this magic, and it builds off of the anxiety of the character, and he's distraught because it kept him up at night before his exam, so he's freaking out. So I use those little hints as well to kind of launch more narrative character building. If that makes sense. So it's like
you're meshing it with the context of the story.
Yeah.
You create situations where, by coincidence, in that situation, they can use that power, and then
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That would be like
there's an overlay. There's a base storyline that you're reading, that you're understanding, but there's a lot of overarching subtext that's kind of being like, there's where the Pavlov's gun is. Did you catch it? Kind of a thing. There's like these little winks in the script, and I guess it can improve your second time reading it. Is you'll start connecting some of those a little bit, but yeah, we'll see.
Awesome stuff, man. That sounds great. It sounds like really, really, really good stuff. Well thought out stuff. And Frequency says, "Thank you guys. Your prints were amazing." Oh man, I can't wait to see mine. I'm excited.
Oh really? I got them right here.
Fandom, what's going on, man? Yeah, it's a big stack. It's a big stack of.
It's awesome.
He's got like everybody in the indie scene to do some art for them, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so hail to Christian, Phantom Geek. What's going on? Tart Ninja, what's going on? Good to see you. And yes, so that's awesome. So you're bouncing ideas back and forth with Joe Carapano. Yes, that's is that your? Would he be like a co-creator of the story also?
No, he wouldn't probably say that by any means. No. Bouncing the ideas off is more like on a technical thing. Like, hey, you probably need to increase the pacing here or this or that. As far as like world building and stuff, that's mainly been me for a very long time. So
nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just writing the story. And he even says, this is a different story, man. Like I didn't necessarily listen to him. Like I hear and listen to a lot of people say certain things, but I'm also trying to be different and be kind of attack it a bit differently, just like I did with the art, the art choice and the style. It's nothing you've seen before. So I'm hoping to be experimental, but then there's a risk there. You don't know if it's going to hit good. So what I did is I thumbnailed it, or I called them thumbnails. I was doing them on my stream, and Noah from NTM Comics was there going, "What are you doing? Making your thumbnails this detailed, man? That's not thumbnails." So I've got the whole book already, made in the rough form, and all I've been doing has been redrawing it and finishing it to sell you guys. And I've been told,
those are your thumbnails?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
that's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. So that helped me get it done fast. So I got that done in a month, like the whole book drafted out, and then sent that around. And I asked some people's opinions on, is this reading well? Is this reading well? And I had some people say, why don't you add a scene here? Like Joe said, add a scene here. I was like, oh, okay, but what do I do about it? He's like, I don't know. You figure it out. So I did. I figured something out. And that's kind of what I was explaining about the candle. But instead, there's no candle now. So
awesome stuff, man.
But yeah, it is. Yeah. And to other people too, they'll tell me, hey, this doesn't sound right. You might want to reword that, but then it's like, okay, what about bubble style? Well, I like the European square boxes. Or like the more rectangular boxes rather than the circular one.
Interesting.
So, well, I like RPGs and video games, and
that's what you see in them. Yeah,
exactly. See mostly as boxes.
That's true. That's awesome. So it'll be like to some extent. No, it'd be like reading an RPG to some extent. No, that's awesome. Right. I like that. That is definitely not seen in comics, and I can see how some people might be a bit hesitant to approach that, but go for it, man. See what works. I like playing with the medium. I like extending it, moving it, bending it, doing different things with it, because it's just pushes the boundaries, sees what makes for more creative works, and I'm all for it. I'm all for that stuff. And we got Hojo also in the stream. What's going on? So, in the chat, I'm sorry. He's like, what's up, folks? Had to swim through a sea of incompetence at work to try to make some time. What's going on, Hojo, man? Good to see you, man. It's always a pleasure. And Amanda B's here. What's going on, Amanda? How you doing? Good to see you. And you really don't want to see how I do thumbnails.
Like
He
I
does.
said, everyone was telling me that those aren't thumbnails. I said
Yeah,
I'm in the flow, so that if I
yeah,
say they're my thumbnails, then they're my freaking thumbnails.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than I would do for them. But yeah, that's awesome. This is good. And great, man. What else was I was gonna say something? Yeah, I was a big fan of or I am a big fan of Star Circuit. I read I backed it digitally a while back. I got a chance to read it, and yeah, I love how he did some of the panels, the panel work,
Yeah.
especially in that intro with the motorcycle,
Yeah.
the introduction of the family, and yeah, I totally get what you were saying earlier, that there's no panel wasted. Like everything that he presents in there has some connection to the story, pushes it forward in some way, which is great, which is really, really good. And yeah, I'm excited for that. And yeah, so if you don't mind,
that's a
yeah, go
lot
ahead.
of what we talked about. Like I said, he's a very technical guy, like Joe, and
Yeah,
I learned a lot of my technical discipline from working with him at certain jobs in game studios. So I was a wild artist and kind of just doing whatever I could do to get my skill up there. And he kind of working next to him, it was like, you need to have a process and a structure in that. And then since I figured out, oh, I've been missing that whole aspect of it, okay, I started to overcompensate. And so now everything I do is very meticulously kind of thought out, processed. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead most of the time, but I'm also staying flexible. If you're too rigid, you'll snap. So like I said, I have little pegs that kind of float out there that I'm swimming to, but I may have to take a different course. And so Recourse, Beckoned Recourse, the whole comic is that Recourse. So we're going into it.
Awesome. And do you leave a lot of much room open for like rewrites or having to adjust things? Because, for example, are there, or have you come across any moments where you've seen like plot holes or like something that you probably didn't set up that later you? Because I'm assuming that the way that you're working it, since it's as you go, that maybe there might be problems with plot holes. Have you come across anything like that? Or
I in the beginning, like that's what had to happen in 2016 when I started making the game. The game, the storyline actually had to crystallize. You know, this is what the game's going to be and the story it's going to elicit. If you're going to bog down your audience with a lot of exposition and super complicated stuff, you better have your holes sewn up and you better have your theories double checked and everything. And I try to keep it as soft magic feeling as possible, or soft systems. But then at the same time, in a game, you have to have hard systems because they have to have laws. You know, they have to have rules. The player has to have them. So they show a level of the magic system. And in the comic book, you're going to see the higher side of the magic system, that it's not about fireballs and icicles and stuff. It's more like a alternate brainwave existence of consciousness that they can use the crystals to tune into. So
is it something like mages, like magic use, mages?
Yeah, basically like magic use, or mages, But that's for the video game aspect. That's what I'm saying. Like in the video game, you got these kids traversing a couple 100 miles worth of an adventure, going from town Burketh all the way up to Tulavania, and then there they can traverse through all of them, kind of backtrack through the game, but the storylines are point to point to point to point. So these kids are being attacked by all the living creatures, and so they have to start learning this loading magic by themselves, and they become pretty beastie by the end of that. And
nice,
yeah,
that's awesome, man. And here, what I'm sharing is the video game that you have on StreamYard. I'm sorry, StreamYard on Stream. I'm sorry.
On Steam, yeah.
Steam, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it's free to play on Steam for the prototype. And after I fulfill the comic, we have an update to do for that. So Dwight's already got the programming done. He's fine tuning that. I've got a couple animations to do to add into it, and then we'll update. And the update will make all three characters playable in the battle system, because right now it's just Taj. the boss fight will be fightable, and it already is. It's just not in this version. So you guys can't. This one will probably take you about 40-45 minutes to get through. But yeah, a lot of stuff has changed for it. So in a good way. We can't wait to get that update. Yeah, you can still go and check it out. I animated it. My older brother programmed it. It's his first video game.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you didn't do the game yourself. You just contributed with the artwork, and then your brother put everything together.
I did the game design. Obviously got the world design. I've obviously, I'm doing the artwork and the animation, and that does lead itself into the game design as far as like how do we set up the system. And I'm big into Final Fantasy, man. I was working on all that and getting that established, and then he came in and was like, I'll help you program it, because I had a couple guys already trying to help, but then they would kind of disappear. So I had it all ready, and I was part of an independent game group out in Orlando right before Rona. So when Rona happened, that stopped. So I was basically just like, okay, let's do this. And so was he. And thank God I got it. My older brother could do it. So he killed it, man.
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe I'm getting from this image right here. You got the 3 characters, you got the life bars, the HP, the MP, I guess you would say, for the magic. Or I don't know if that's how you have it set up, but yeah, it looks great. It looks awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna be redesigning the UI. He's already been doing that now. A lot of that's like just to get it in there, just to get it functioning, at an early stage.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. I don't know where you could improve it, but it looks great. I'm digging it.
Thank you.
I'm digging it. It looks very nice.
Thank you. It's like Final Fantasy mixed with Super Punch Out.
Yeah, I love it. I'm digging it. I'm all for it. Yeah, great stuff, man. Christian, he's like, has anyone joined the World Cup? Yeah, the World Cup is great. It's good. I'm enjoying the crap out of it, and I enjoyed beating Iran. That's for sure. Nice. Yeah, Shadowpunk is here. What's going on, Shadowpunk?
What's up, Shadowpunk? Yeah.
It says a video game and the book seriously insane. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's you're the second person I've come across who's thinking about doing video games. Because also I don't know if you're familiar with Adam Miller. He's also doing his wrestling comic, and he's got a video game attached to it also.
Cool.
And it's really cool idea, and good to see that people are able to add that to the story to make it that much more an enjoyable process.
Yeah, we did that for Tiger Blue.
Tiger Blue also, yeah, that's correct.
Me and my brother did the programming work for that little fun thing. But yeah, it's turned out cool. So
I love Tiger Blue, and then I got the second one. Also, haven't had a chance to read that one yet, but yeah, that's a great story with from Maddie Fowler, and my sister's in the chat. What's going on, Stevie? How you doing? Good to see you. It's always good when the family stops by. The General is here. What's going on, General? How you doing? Yeah, good stuff, man. And you say you have 45. It's like a 45-hour game that this is currently at. Is that where it's going to stay, or are you planning to expand it more as you're writing the book?
As far as the game's concerned, when I get done with the 3 prologue books, so this one and then 2 more book campaigns to complete that prologue, we'll probably be reassessing to relaunch our video game campaign, because we did this first, and we came to crowdfunding without the crowd part. No one knew who we were. We didn't have a big following, but we put ourselves out there. We put a crowdfunder campaign up there for $68,000. So of course that didn't happen. This is post, Gamergate, situations in the playing field now. So, like I said, Joe was writing Star Circuit while me and Dwight were bringing this thing to life. So when he launched Star Circuit campaign, I launched my Beckoned, game campaign. Well, it didn't fund obviously, but I retconned while we were doing that and Joe was working a comic. I said I should have done a comic, because I can regulate that a little bit more, and go faster with it. So yeah, when it didn't fund, we had a recourse. We said I'm going to do a comic series, And now I'm learning and I'm seeing, and yeah, 10 issues is insane. That's going to be the rest of, my comic career, basically. So I'll be doing that while working on the video game, which is already planned out. We just got to get this polished out, get the funds raised in another campaign, and then we can hire the help, me for some art side help and him with some programmer help to build up, because we've already been building the base. Now we got to build up. So, and all that's charted. I've got it on a flow chart. This needs to go here, go here, go here, go here, all based on play times. Like by this play time, they need to be here at this level. Bosses are set up like that. I've got it. It's there.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Combos are made. It's all made or designed. It's all plotted out. We just got to make it.
Nice, man. That's awesome. So, you mentioned 10 years, and that's also something that I came across.
10 books. But yeah, if it's a book a year, it's like 10 years. Yeah.
No, and I was going to get on that, like when I'm doing this, and then when I realized how big the story was that I want to create, I realized that's going to take up a considerable amount of time. Mm-hmm. And how do you handle that? Like, because for example, you're dedicating this much time to your work, but unfortunately, at the same time, you also have to say no to any other side projects that could pop up or any other gigs. How do you handle that? Are there any kind of regrets with not being able to do other jobs, or are you fully satisfied?
So if you can get a paid side job, and do it, and not really flow, and be again more flexible with your own schedule, you can allot yourself a little time to pick up and kind of boost your your finances a little bit with some side work. Nice. Like for the comic campaign, I did some side work for a lot of creators and built up some coffers to invest in the campaign. I didn't want a late book, and I didn't want to create a campaign that I couldn't do a lot of the fulfillment. So other than a printer, I'm making just about everything right now in-house. So and I've already got most of it already ready. So, and then the artists are already paid. I've already got those things done. So yeah, we're just ready to kind of get it delivered to you guys and have that campaign under our belts. And so we're excited.
Awesome, awesome stuff, man. And this is a glimpse of or a section of the world map. You created this yourself. You designed the world. And this looks great.
My buddy Kenton, who was the one, we've been best friends since second grade, and then me and Joe have been friends since high school, and coworkers and stuff. So I still talk to these guys all the time, especially Joe. And then, he's my buddy, and me kind of played with this idea. We found out you can use like photos of nebulas with height map generators and Photoshop and start playing around, and we got this pretty realistic topographical map. And if you zoom in, or have, like, maybe you can on this, but on the real image, we might even be making a poster of it. You can zoom up and see how the rivers go from the mountains and out to the oceans, and like you can. So that's cool in a writing sense, because I want my characters to be formed in the world they're in, not the world be conveniently crafted for their characters, or the audience. So it makes writing more fun, because I get to have to look at the map and go, okay, if they got to travel from here to here, look at the landscape, see what's there. Can I level design, basically?
That's the same thing that I'm going through. I created a world map for my comic also. It's not anywhere near as great as that is. I have a section of it where the story takes place, and I ask myself the same questions, like how did they travel from this place to that place? Mm-hmm. Why did they need could they walk? Could they take a bike? Could they get on a boat? Or
is the weather bad?
Get on a boat? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. That's awesome stuff, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see what you do with this, because then I can snatch some of your ideas and then use it for myself.
Okay, well here's the next hint I'll have for you. Part of my writing is taking a topographical map and just being like a Lewis and Clark type character, and go, okay, I'm gonna write notes about point A to point B and what plants I'll come across, what type of animals am I going to come across? What kind of landscape? And just write those notes. And then when I actually am writing the story and I have characters going from one place to the other, I go back and go, right, this place has this, and this.
Yeah.
And I can craft something around that. And that makes the world feel more cohesive. That's how I'm able to avoid certain plot holes too, is again, attacking things from multiple angles sometimes until you find the right path. But yeah,
and then they get to use like different places and then create different aesthetics, so the reader can see like when they're in this one particular town, they can pinpoint it just by how the buildings look, how the people are dressed, or the the
color scheme, the theme.
The theme of the aspect. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome stuff, man. Congratulations to you and your excellent work. I'm excited just talking about it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is awesome.
Heck yeah. I had a lot of fun animating that stuff. And I can't wait to get the rest of them done for it.
Yeah, it looks great.
And Chris Fisk ended up printing me my main character from the game as a trophy for a completed funded book. I was like, oh, snap. He did great with it. But yeah.
Hold on. Let me
game campaign.
There you go. Oh,
so
man, that's awesome.
I did a clay original sculpture, and then I paid a sculptor, 3D sculptor, me and my digital one that me and Joe used to work with, and he recreated it. Chris Fisk sent me a little one that turned out really awesome, and then I was like, "Oh, dude, that's cool." But the actual files for like a 10-inch statue, but that's 9.1, and it's heavy and it's resin, and I cleaned it up. It's awesome. I wish I could offer that this campaign, but that's for the game. So,
man, that's awesome. Do you need to create more things like that for your other characters also, or do you feel like you have a good concept on how they look and?
Yeah, I'm pretty nailed down with how aesthetically they all. I mean, that's really what kind of kept me going. Like, how does this stuff look? Does it look interesting? Does it play with conventions at times? Does it play the tropes at times? Because it's obvious to kind of see like Taja's character design does kind of harken to your Legend of Zelda Link a little bit, or your Toriyama kind of character designs with Chrono Trigger. So yeah, like you can see hints, but nothing's straight up taken right from them, Oh yeah, Captain Jetties covered. Yeah, dude.
Great. And I'm really just excellent decision in getting him to do a piece for this, because I think his art style just matches perfectly with what you're creating, and it looks great. It's just awesome stuff, man.
It was sick. Yeah, I was so blessed to have him on here.
Yeah. Do you have the original for this?
It's on its way. Apparently, I saw a post that he was boxing it up. I was like, yeah.
That's crazy. Do you take a painterly approach also when you're doing your colors, or is that how do you?
No, I take a draftsman approach. So I like line work. That's my safety, or that's my structure, is line work. Painters usually can start their painting with, again, finding the shape, breaking it down, and that's kind of drafting in and of itself. But then it's a lot of color use in shapes, and they build on those layers, on top, just like he does with his watercolors. Absolutely incredible. But I kind of go the draftsman route. So I cross hatch a lot. I'm popping little details as if it's like a architectural sketch almost. But it's art. It's artsy instead of architecture, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like the aesthetic that you're creating. It's got a very it's got a very because you also have these scenes in some of. I'm sorry, let me pull this up.
Mm-hmm.
You have like scenes like this that tend to work well with that kind of a painterly-esque feel to it, like the dream. I think the dream watcher is this character.
The nightmare eater.
The nightmare eater. Yeah. Good stuff. Awesome stuff, man. And do you feel that you've been able to put like elements or things about yourself in this story? Because normally personal experiences tend to like you know, translate themselves into the comic or into any work that you're doing? Do you have elements like that in your books?
I obviously will when it gets into the 10 issue series. There are some, elements obviously that I like to write what I know. Also like to present new type of ideas or put these characters in situations where it brings out maybe the worst in them. They think it's a good tactic, but it's probably not. Or I just like showing kind of the faults in us, and the human parts and the characters a lot more. Like I really like how Indiana Jones kind of screws up a lot. He kind of screws up into success rather than, I always knew what I was doing, but I also like tragedy too. Like I see how tragedy can motivate a story through, and not by cheaply Game of Thrones and just killing everyone left and right, but there's a jerk to that. But I think we've been nulled to that in story writing now. Is someone has to die. Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of death in what's happening in my prologue. But after that, we've got 10 issues, and there's always a threat. And in those 10 issues, there's a battle scene, a big war scene that's going to be happening. We're going to be traveling through a lot of wild places. We're trying to hide the MacGuffin type thing. But it's a fun thing to try to figure out how all those beats are going to be hidden. But I've already did it. I did it. And that's what this map is basically taking that 10 series issue. And we're going to be basically hanging in that area of the map of Arlea. If that answers your question, I think it got lost.
Yeah. Perfectly great. Yeah, awesome stuff, man. And do you feel, for example, and I mentioned that because I don't know, like I just innately, I think anybody who's investing themselves in their time into creating something, I think eventually eventually some part of what's going on in your world is going to filter through into any creation you make. For example, last week I had Michael Loden on the show, and then he was telling us about the embrace, and then there's that aspect of his personal life. Then, for example, Sean Arendt, who's going through a difficult time, he talks about his character is called Type 1. So I mean, there's always traces of the character. I'm sorry, of the creator in the character, and I was just wondering if you were tapping into that also, because I think it makes for really good storytelling, though, because at least the reader will be able to read the story and then see where the connection lies between the story.
The reason why I like the world building, like I was telling you, the topographical map and kind of making my notes, is I've been elk hunting with my dad in Colorado. We did that when I was 16. I'm a recurve bow hunter, not a gun or anything, and not the compound, but just the big recurve. So hiking up a mountain for like 12 hours and camping out there and survivalist type mentality. My dad's always kind of been a hunter and carpenter, wild man in a sense. So I grew up around that. So when it comes to my characters moving through from point A to B, I hope a lot of that, kind of comes through as the adventure, if that makes sense. And then of course I've been in schools and, colleges and stuff. So I get the whole mentorship, teacher work style, type thing. So then trying to impress your peers or your elders or whatever. It's like, hey, did you get enough sleep last night? Yeah, I did. But the truth is you didn't at all. But you tell them, you put on a good face and you go, you kind of give them that white lie a little bit to kind of keep moving. Like those type of things, they seem odd when you read them, but at the same time, it's like that's part of the character. It's just kind of take it how you want to. Either he's lying, or he's just trying to pump himself up, and show a good face. And
nice, that's awesome stuff, man. And you seem to have your world very well constructed, built. You have a strong foundation, a solid base for where you're doing all of your work. Do you feel that at this it would be a good idea, or maybe not such a good idea, to hire or to get an editor if there is one attached to the project?
I understand. I understand and respect the need for editors. I think they are a necessity for a lot of people to get used to using. I'm not going to sit here kind of like, oh no, it's too precious to me. But if it's the editor's book, then have the editor write his version of it. But that's not what an editor's supposed to do. So, I will listen to an editor because I'll do the good faith effort and get one, but I'm not changing my story plots or the big hooks or anything like that because they don't hit to it. I don't think I'll have that problem though. But again, like I said, you need to have fresh eyes look on your project. You're too close to it. I'm too close to it. Like just visually, you don't have the same awareness because you're too close. You got to get fresh eyes to give you a rough kick in the nuts sometimes, and I welcome that. My friends like Joe are not afraid to tell me when something sucks, or when something's not working. It's honesty, and I work off of it. So again, I can adjust, and I'm like I said, if you're too brittle, you snap. You have to be flexible, and that's what I mean. But don't. The thing is that the editors don't have to fall on the same sword, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So use them where you need them and listen to them too.
Yeah, definitely. Because
smile and nod a lot, and then make your choice. Like that's what I'd say. Just smile and nod a lot, and then go make your choice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, yeah, because I mean, I would see, for example, why it wouldn't be as necessary in this case because you've developed a lot of it already. You have what appears to be story elements that are already firmly placed. That moving it is not going to really help the story much at all. So that was just a curious question to see where that might lay. Where that idea might lay. But yeah, good
they're
stuff.
Very needed in the process.
Yeah, definitely because like for example, in mine, I have an idea of the character. I have an idea of what they want to do, but I don't know fully how to express it. And I'm not as deep into the development of it as you are. So in my case, I think it might be a little bit more needed in my case because this is the work that you've been showing off is way further developed and advanced than what I've been doing. So it's really good stuff. And
I just hope it's good because this will be a lot of work to have to switch up an IP all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm in it. Even if it sucks, I got to make it good before I die. So
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And how long do you take, for example, to do a page, or for example, to do this wraparound cover? How long do you? Because I mean, that's pencils, inks, colors, the whole nine. How?
So this is all digital as well. So it's being done in strictly Photoshop, and my pencil tool is a 0.2 in its measure, but that's on 11x17, 300 DPI. So I got lost in the details and trapped. And instead of freaking out and redesigning it, I'm tackling it. I'm saying, F the details, F Danny, and go in there and just tackle it all. Hashtag no cowards, get it as detailed as the software will let me get.
Yeah.
So it does take more time, but no one in the right mind will try to do this again. So I'm glad I took that step and that, put my boot in the dirt, and this is what we're doing for this book. The next book is still going to have the same style, and I'm still a detail-oriented guy. I'm just going to be doing traditional, pencils that are finished pencils, like Joe did with Star Circuit, and then digitally color it. So this, the wrap cover took 2 months. 2 months. Wow. It's on my, not click the timer and 2 months later click it. I mean, I was working on it for an hour and then stepping away, working on it for 3 hours and then stepping away. So that, and then streaming it, because you can go on my YouTube channel at Zade Studios and see where I was working on this for that time. So in those time slots, it says, 2 months from the start of it to the end of it. And that was the same for the double page spread. So these pages take me a long time to do, but I'm still pretty quick with it.
No, that's great. Wow. And then the end result, I mean, it's great. As you say, nobody is going to want to replicate it. Because it's too detailed, and it's going to stay there. It's going to be there forever. You have it at your disposal always, and then you build upon it, and then it's great. All that effort, it never goes to waste. So it's always good to use it. Awesome.
Yeah, and on that third campaign, that third book campaign that completes a prologue, I'll be offering a hardbound book with all 3 of them in one book. So that's
awesome.
That's what we're building the comics up to.
Nice. That's great stuff, man.
Yeah, for this campaign, we have coins, that are coming to me. These are the game coins, but we already showed off the comic coins. Dwight's has them shipping to me now. I just haven't got them yet. We have these, these crystal shards that we're calling them, that everybody has been loving. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just a crafty dude. I can't get my hands busy enough half the time.
Yeah, I heard also, I think it was on the Bancroft stream, that he mentioned that you were making these knives by hand.
Yeah. That's what these are right here.
I'm sorry. Let me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So these are
insane.
These are what we're calling load-in shards, because we don't want Indiegogo to get the wrong idea. They're replicas. This isn't real crystal, but it's resin cast in a mold that I made out of silicone. The belt frog, which matches up to the hill, doubles as a stand, but you can also hang it off your belt and wear it at cosplay or Ren fairs or something. But
That's awesome.
Double as a stand. But yeah, the whole handle and everything is made with sinew. It's woven sinew over a hard structure of armature wire, and then real leather braid handle. And then there's an extra crystal in the pommel that has the spell of hover, which makes the knife lighter.
Wow.
So yeah, because when you hold this, you're like, ooh, that's really light. It's like, yeah, there's a magic crystal in it. So anyway, I love these things, and I was so happy when I got them done. I've already got another one started for my backers, because those are sold out now. I only offered 3. They take about a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
We got stretch goals. We got 6 a.m. stickers right there, and then a print by Eric Weathers, and he did the line art and the composition, and then Ollie colored it up from 656. Badass. But yeah, we got more stretch goals coming too, and like I said, I got more perks. I just got to finish this one up, photograph it, get it digitally put up. So we'll have some new stuff put up here in the next day or two. New perks. Nice. But yeah, best perk to get's that featured tier. It's your best deal. You can go through the shipping and do your math. That's the best deal. I'm basically giving you a huge discount on one of the on that. So good, get that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then the crystals and stuff, they're cool. I've got these bigger ones I don't know what to do with yet. I haven't put them up on the campaign, but they're kind of the runoff of the smaller ones.
Yeah, great stuff, man. A lot of great work. A lot of time. Yeah. This is Joe Catapano's piece right here.
Yeah. That's his cover, the action cover.
Yeah, looks nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, good line work. Looks great. And then with the grayscales, like, how do you approach that? Like, do you is there like a black and white button on your
basically, but that's not the end of it, because I do all the work and get the colored version done, which has all the contrast, all the shades, all that. So then I just take that one and desaturate it. I'll pull all the color out, and it gives me a straight black and white. But sometimes your values aren't well balanced when that happens. So you do need to go in there and darken some areas or lighten some areas, and it becomes kind of like patchwork, that you kind of do. But yeah, it's that's what I'm doing for it. So is it a whole new redesign of the book? No. Is it the colors literally turned off? No. That's why I called it grayscale. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, because it looks almost as if that's what had happened. That's why, because it looks really, really good what you did there.
But it changes the mood of it, is what a lot of people had said too. It's like the color makes it feel prettier and lighter, but the black and white's kind of like we're telling kind of a serious dark fantasy story.
A bit more loomy, yeah, good stuff. Awesome stuff, man. And we're approaching. We're already at the top of the hour, and any final thoughts or anything else that you'd like to say to the people in the chat? And
I appreciate every one of you guys for supporting it and getting us through. I mean, dang, on Bancrofts, I still can't believe it funded as quickly as it did. But you
Yeah.
guys blew past stretch goals that I had in place, and I've got more ready for you guys on that. But you guys have really killed it and made me happy to be on this end of it. And I can't wait to fulfill it and have that under the belt and then ready to come up with another one that's coming out faster. That's what I was talking about earlier. Being the digital, I did get trapped in the details, but I didn't get scared. I said, no, I'm going to get it and put my boots in that dirt. So after that, I'll be a lot faster on the next books because I'm a lot faster with graphite.
Yeah, and then you'll have that foundation already laid out because that's also the harder work is just getting everything set up. But once you've done it, then it's easier to move forward with the rest of it. Yeah, good stuff. Where can we find you? Where can we find you in case anybody's looking to get in touch with you and find out more about the book?
Well, we have a website, zadestudios.com. You can kind of catch up with us there. I don't really update it as much as I should, but I'm always on Twitter, Studio Zade, and then I have a weekly show on YouTube at
the
Zade
Art
Studios.
Bros. Is that it?
And then I do Art Bros with Joe when he does it. But I do have my own channel, Zade Studios, which I do with my older brother. So he's my co-host there that kind of heckles me while I do the artwork. It's fun. It's cool. A lot of us kind of chill there every week. So it's neat. But yeah, that's where you can find me there. I got an Instagram and a Facebook. But again, I just, I'm around.
Yeah, he's everywhere, guys. Yeah, be sure to check him out. And be sure to back Beckoned Recourse. It looks great. There's a game to it. Just my kind of thing that I like. And then there I go. Give me a second.
I like the meme though.
Yeah. Me mugging the guest. No,
Yeah.
it's not that. I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. You can catch me also here on the channel. I'm going to be doing two more shows, and then I'll just dedicate myself to working on my stuff, and then maybe putting out the sporadic video every now and then. And so that'll be it for us. Thank you very much to everyone in the chat for stopping by, and then for anybody else catching this on a replay, please be sure to back and Recourse. It's on Indiegogo right now. And you've seen all of the great stuff that Jeremy's offering, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to back it. And that's it. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Jeremy, for stopping by. And
thanks for having me. Thank you guys too.
And that'll be it. And we're out. Pow. And I'm out, guys. Be safe.